going at a very early age, before you got to campus, and I want you to just maybe start by saying, how did you choose environmental justice and get involved in this movement?
Okay, well, I think everybody gets involved in something because they're passionate about it. And so I got involved during my freshman year of high school. I went with my mother to a community acid and toxic tour of my community because an organization was trying to get people educated about what was going on in the neighborhood and empower them to take action. So I went on this tour, and I thought I had already known my community, but I noticed that I had not really paid attention to the industries around the neighborhood. And during this tour, I realized that the building that I used to call the Cloud Factory when I was 3 years old was in fact a coal power plant, and that was emitting a lot of pollution, causing a lot of respiratory problems in the neighborhood. And that to me was a great impact, especially because there was a Harvard School of Public Health study done on my community that revealed that there were 49 premature deaths, 500 emergency room visits, and 2,500 asthma attacks per year. And that should not be happening. That should not be something that my community should be paying the consequences for. And so that really inspired me to take action in the community and organize, because my community is a low-income community. It's predominantly Latino, and a lot of these environmental hazards are located in low-income and minority neighborhoods. And so I worked together with my community to organize, but also organize youth, because I felt that environmental justice is an issue that is going to affect us for still some time, especially environment and climate change. And so I felt the need to start a youth group to educate my peers and get them involved, and it worked quite well. And it's my passion, it's what I like doing. So you guys should find your passion and do it. And you know, it could be environment, it could be education. So just find what you love and do it, because there's nothing better than doing what you love.
National media is saying that people are disengaged, dissatisfied, distraught, in despair, whatever. And so I think they're trying to put that out there so that people will feel kind of impotent, that they really can't do anything. And actually, it's at a time like this that we're really called upon to really get engaged and to really get involved. And I always like to use the example of the farm workers, where Cesar Chavez and I organize farm workers, and people would say to us, how can you organize the farm workers? They're poor, they're not citizens, they don't speak the English language, they don't have any money. How can you possibly get them to come together? And the message that we gave the farm workers is this: you have power. You have power. They would say, what is our power? And the power is in your person. You, as an individual, your body, that's the power that you have. But you also have to realize that you have this power, but nothing is going to happen to change your life unless you do it. You have to take responsibility, because nobody is going to do it for you. Nobody's going to do it for us. So that the only way that we can make the changes is that we have to come together with other people, work together, take direct action. Take action. And then in the taking of the action, this is how we develop the leadership that we need to do things. And sometimes we think, well, I don't really know what to do. Well, you know what? You take the first step. It could be just passing a leaflet about the issues that you're engaged in, the environmental issue, whatever justice issues that we're working on. Pass a leaflet, get a few people together, have a meeting, you know, do a march, do a vigil, you know, go to, especially, you know, like we just had this healthcare issue where our president is trying to bring something for the whole nation, and they didn't hear our voices. We had to get out there and send those emails. It's so easy today. Send the emails. You know, call your congressperson, go down, get a delegation together and go down there. One thing I want to say about the campuses, you know, we have a lot of different movements. We have our environmental movement, we have our civil rights movement, our LGBT movement, women's movement, workers' movement, immigrants' rights. But you know what? We've got to bring those movements together. So I think when you go back to your campuses, get all of your organizations together, your sororities, whatever. Let's all have one meeting of all of our groups and say, we've got to work together and we can work on these issues and we can win. We can do it. Sí se puede.
Bueno.
I ended up going to DePaul University in Chicago because one of their classes was environmental justice, and that class would do community service, or what we like to call service learning in my community. So that's how I learned about their community programs, and that played an important factor in attending DePaul. So when I got to DePaul, I helped organize more students to come to Little Village and participate and enroll in that class. That class at first had only maybe 6 students enrolled, and now it has gone up to 25. So that's a huge improvement over the course of 3-4 years. Just really advocating on environmental justice issues, not just in Chicago, but also in other parts of the country, like Appalachia. There's the issue of mountaintop removal, and as we have known, there was a mine explosion a couple weeks ago, and so we really need to work on these issues and transition to alternative sources of energy.